Tell me that wasn't faster than Minato. Tell me that wasn't fast. That was faster than Minato. That was flash. She was gone. She disappeared. I was like, wow. Chika did not see anything. How could Chika not see that?
Oh my days. Flying God Thunder, yeah. Man said, nah, I'm actually finished.
She did that. She's wavy. Guys, we're back again with another Love is War episode 6. Get to know, as always, you got me, Rigel, and my boy.
Yo, what's going on, people? Daniel here, back again. As Rigel said, Love is War episode 6, halfway through the season.
It's mad how quickly we're going through this, man. Like watching it, because we missed last week, but watching it weekly, as we usually do, like you realize how quickly you go through these episodes, like, and the season is nearly done. It's getting scary. It's getting good though.
Yeah, we're getting into them good episodes. Like this was an episode I was looking forward to. So I'm very happy that we're already at this point, and it's slowly gonna improve from here.
Likewise. Yeah. So let's just jump into it.
All right. So this week I want to do something a bit different, because even though the episode was split into 3 parts, the kind of similar to, I think it was like either last week or the week before that, where like the transition between the parts was so seamless it could be like one. I think this was like an episode of 2 halves. So in this part, I want to discuss, I don't want to make Miko Iino smile, and I want to make Miko Iino smile. And before we start discussing like that half of the episode, I like those titles, because when you first see the first title, you're like, what? And then when you get to the end of that whole segment and it pops up with the title, and then you see her surrounded by all these people, and she's like, oh wow, this is just like a really, really beautiful story that we just witnessed. And you can tell true. Like that's where you can see where Kage is just not your ordinary rom-com. Like, it's deeper than that. But yeah, I guess so. Let's start with what you thought overall of that, like, of those 2 segments.
I think first of all, I need to give a shout out to her best friend. I don't know who she is. I don't know her name. The girl with the glasses. But when I say she's top tier, like,
that's a rider.
Ride or die. Like, she's been with her through everything, and I was just wilding the whole time, because I feel like when I first watched it, I wasn't concentrating on other characters like that. Rewatching it has given me like another perspective. Like, this episode really just showcased what a great friend she has in this girl. Like, it's incredible. Like, she deserves all the applause. Like, I don't even know, man. That's just crazy.
Yeah, for me, I think what this episode, what this part highlighted is, as you were saying, her friend, I think her name's Kobachi, how loyal she is, and also how cohesive of a unit the student council is. You know, like, each of them have their own job, and you see how they really excel in their own roles, and like how tight knit a group, and how that boosts Shirogane, and how good Shirogane is as a person. Like, he is a great guy, honestly.
He's top tier, man. He's
a president for the reason. Like, honestly, he's such a good guy, man. And Ishigami too. I think it's probably underrated. Maybe, actually, I think people probably notice, but like the way he doesn't get along with Miko, but he respects that she puts her all into everything she does, and he doesn't like to see people making fun of that. So he was like, if we beat her by a landslide, we see like, she was just outclassed. Like, it's not a thing where like she's trash, but the president goes above that by realizing that Ishigami wants Miko to kind of excel at this last hurdle where she's always been failing at, and like he helps to boost her up during the speeches, and like that whole exchange is like probably one of my favorite scenes in the show, because like you see how like she has the potential to say what she wants to say. Like she can do it. It's just like all those failures have like kind of created a complex in her mind, which makes it difficult for her. And since she's not liked within the school well enough, she said her friend was saying like she's not strong. Like, so we see like it was good to see her be able to get her thoughts out for once during these elections.
Like, therefore, going on with what you said about Ishigami, like when his first kind of interaction in the show that we had with him, I thought like what I was getting, the vibe I was getting is that my guy would basically carry on that kind of like Iino versus Ishigami that we got from the previous episode, when for some reason they have some like a mad history where they kind of clash. You know what I mean? So, and I thought this was going to be the continuation, but this time we see Ishigami taking the W and just saying, nah, we just have to kill off Miko right now. Just have to dead her, make her suffer. That's what I thought it was like, but then it wasn't at all like that. He was really looking for her, like looking out for her, like really looking out for her. He was like, I don't like it when people are treated in a certain way, especially when they're giving their all to something and they're so passionate and their nature or what they really believe in is so good, even if they're not like outwardly portraying it as it should be. At the core, at the heart of it, and that's like Miko fully, at the heart of everything she's doing is good, apart from the bald head thing, because that's a fetish, man.
だがそれだけのために坊主頭にするのはやりすぎだ。かっこいいでしょ坊主頭は。一瞬しておしゃれでしょ。あのクリクリはキュンキュンします。お前のフェチは知らんわ。
She wilded with that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, she was definitely some personal interest slipped into that choice there. But following off what you were saying, I think Ishigami, we're seeing more layers to him. He's not just like this guy who's just a shut-in. He always wants to go home after getting picked on. Like, he's got a strong sense of justice, kind of similar to Iino. So maybe it's kind of a thing where like they're a bit too similar secretly, because like Miko's more overt with her like sense of justice, like trying to hunt down, like she's even hunt down people. She's even on the disciplinary committee, whereas it seems like we're seeing that Ishigami kind of shares the same, I don't know if it's the same level, but like he's kind of hard on like, yeah, I like doing good things. I don't like seeing people get kicked when they're down. And yeah, like it's good to see, because we haven't really got that many episodes with Ishigami this season as of yet. I know later in the season we'll get those episodes and we'll talk about them. But yeah, I feel like this was a bit of foreshadowing for the event that will happen later on in the season. So that was good. And also, I want to talk about how during Kaguya's speech, the way how strategic each of the student council members were. Like, you see how initially, as soon as Kaguya gets onto the stage, she creates feedback with the microphone to draw everyone's attention, which is something that we see, what's her name, Kobachi, people were sleeping during her speech. So like,
yeah, they were mocking it, man. I was like, when I was watching those moments, I was like, I'm switching. How can you do that? I was like, pay attention. How's man lying his head back and resting on the seat and just falling asleep? Are you mad? That's disrespect.
Mad disrespectful, because like she was pouring out her heart from Miko, and they weren't respecting the thing. So Kaguya, she built different. She's like, yeah, you gonna listen to me today. She created the feedback. Everyone's looking at her, and then she starts talking. And then Chika, she's smart. She was mentioning before how people don't like how Shirogane entered the school halfway through, because I think he only joined in high school. So she got a teacher to stand right by someone who doesn't like, I think, new bloods, that's what they call it. So then when man tried to badmouth Shirogane, the teacher's like, yo, be quiet, man. So no negative propaganda can be spread. And then Hayasaka's out here promoting Shirogane too. You know how she's popular. And Ishigami creating the technical videos. The video was so sick. It was so sick, man. Like, it displayed everything all the information they needed to get out
in such a beautiful, direct manner. There was no dilly-dally, there was no extra. It was just bang, there we go. That's what we need to hear. They're all the main points. Yeah, he's classy.
It just shows the difference between like the two groups. So like they had all these like factors which helped to boost Kaguya when she was doing her speech, and her speech was good too. Whereas like Miko only had her friend, and that was it. So like it was kind of, I feel like it was hard for them to match up as in groups. So when it came to them doing the individual speeches, she was already feeling down because she was like, yo, man, like these men have already done this much, and like she was clocking, like there was reasons for what they were doing. So like she was already having this sense of, okay, this is gonna be a bit peak for me. But
which it kind of was, but
it was. And also, before we move on to like the epic confrontation between Miko and Shirogane, where he just displays why he is top one in the series, let's talk a bit about the introspective we get on Miko as a character and like the reasoning for her motivations. And I feel like it comes from a place of missing her parents and wanting to perform well to like meet the standard they set in her mind, because she sees them doing really great things, so she feels like everyone should be living up to that standard. And like because they're not always at home, she kind of has a
Can I just say the parents are actually trash.
Relax.
Like how is it you can't be leaving your kid, you can't leave your kid like that in the house like that. I know there's laws and regulation, I know it's illegal.
She probably had a nanny or something. Come on, man.
She does not have a nanny. I
don't know that. We saw like one day, man.
She did not have a nanny. I saw the pain in her eyes, and she had that pain. I've seen that pain. I've watched too many shows in my life not to understand what those eyes meant. It meant my parents leave me on my ones, and I have to cook my own dinner.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Hey, but you heard what she said, like her dad has to be abroad because he does this thing, and then her mom is like busy with work. Like she knows they're hardworking people.
They should have thought about that before they had her. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that is true. You know, go on your Miko soliloquy, because I know you probably had it stored up because of all this greatness in one episode.
Of course, man. This bit touched me to my core, my very being. Do you know the deep part of me that loves Miko and exudes to the exterior of me? That's the part it hit, bro. I was there and I was like, wow, this is where she gained. The thing is, she's such a real individual, as in she presents herself as strong when she's not really, but she doesn't really showcase everything that's affecting her, apart from to her close friend, who he gets to see all the sides of her. But her ideals and everything she believes in comes from such a pure place that if everybody just plays the part and does what they're meant to do, we can do things well. We can go places. We can be more happier. Like, I'm looking at some moments, I'm like, you're doing a bit too much. I don't want to say you're doing too much, but she kind of is. But I still love it because I know where it's coming from. Like, especially that moment when she came and told everybody in the school, and she said, what did she say? She said, don't bring anything to school that isn't for school. I was dying.
Bro, if I was that age, I'm like, what are you talking about, my guy? Please, I'm like 5. Let me live, bro. These are my young years.
The same thing.
I'm not trying to hit all that. Not at this age, please.
But it was coming from the right place, though, and that's what I love about her. I wish I could be her parent, so I could be there and cook her jollof rice and some fried chicken, and she can enjoy it. She can be happy, and she can't take that pain and suffering with her. Just know I would have done it so different. But her whole story was great. Like, it gave so much depth to it, her character.
Definitely, it was a great backstory. I really liked it. And as you were saying earlier about her friend, like, she's loyal, man, from day one.
So loyal.
I just like that scene where it's like, oh yeah, she's earnest, but she's not strong. Because, like, you can tell, like, every time she lost an election, like, it burned her, but she didn't, in public, she didn't let it show. Like, she went to a place where no one can see her to let out her emotions. But she's, even though she was losing each time, she still kept to her ideals, and I respect that, because it's not hard to bounce back from failures. And even though like she had failed so many times, she still went for this election, even knowing how many times she's failed beforehand. So I respect her, and I respect her friend for standing by her, man.
Miko is just so brave. Everything she does just showcase so much bravery and will
Tenacity.
to continue to like drive. It's crazy. Like, she's one of those people you want to have that character. That as part of your character. So like a will to just keep going and keep driving forward and pushing and keep trying to make it work. And that's why I love Miko.
Because this life is tough, man.
It is not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy or hard.
Hey, but transitioning to, I think, probably my favorite scene of the episode, the Miko's speech. And let me set the scene. Miko has gotten up onto the stage to deliver her campaign speech following Kaguya's rousing appraisal of Shirogane, and she starts to fumble her words in seemingly Miko Iino fashion, and stumbling at the last hurdle, she can't get out her points as to why she should be chosen as the student council president. And as this is going on, Shirogane walks up onto the stage, collects her piece of paper with all her points on it, and starts to engage her in a debate to kind of boost up her confidence. And we see her slowly but surely rise to the Miko Iino we've seen previously, going head to head with Shirogane, taking on each point, backing it up with evidence. PEEL, point,
Shining.
evidence, explain, and link. She gave all the evidence, went all the way with a bit of a weird point about the bald heads. Can't co-sign that. Buzz cut's not it.
You are. Oh my days.
But she came with the heat. She was spitting.
She did.
Shirogane, he set up he gave the intro to the cipher, and then once it was underway, she started flowing on the track, going bar for bar.
Bars and that.
They started going back to back, you know.
With her, because of how she is, and we've seen especially in this episode, when adversity hits, when there's something that's in her way, she steps up to the occasion. So she needed to really feel the presence of Miyuki right there, and him being there and actually like attacking her somewhat.
Yes.
You know, with her character, she's not gonna like back down. She's like, nah, what do you mean? I'll tell you about my points. I'll tell you about my philosophy, how I want to run this school. I'll tell you about shaved heads. Because I like that.
Hey, and a key thing to know.
Why did she like that? Bro, she's weird.
Hey, wait. A key thing to note is that Shirogane drew her focus to him and him alone. And that way, because we saw like it's not the people in the crowd, it was just like the way they were looking at her. And I was like, it was part of the complex in her head. But once it was just him and she could focus solely on him, all of it went. And like it was like she was back to normal again. And I respect Shirogane for doing that, because he could have just let her crash and burn. Like she was ready to flop right there. Like it would have been an easy W for him. But it was like, nah, I don't want to win like that. You guys have supported me, and I want to show you I have faith in your guys' efforts. So let me help her, because this ain't gonna be no easy win election.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man, and you can't say anything against that. Because me personally, even though I love Miko, if I was running against her and I see you flopping, I'm also doing the most. I'll start shouting random stuff like, "I get this girl off the stage, man. She's dead." That's how I'll be like. Like, I'll be slapping it on. But obviously, I wouldn't do that because I love Miko. But just stepping up and I wouldn't do that. I love Miko, man.
Did you not just say even though
the
I
way
love
he,
Miko? Okay. I'm a little slide.
Yes, but I said.
Let's slide. Go for
carrying on.
Oh, okay.
He just showed a great temperament, like and great character, and that's why he deserves. And to be honest, he deserves to win. Like, he has way more experience, and doing a second term when you've done so well your first term is like, especially when he came halfway through the year, it's like a transition thing. I feel like he's fulfilling just finishing what he needs to do, basically.
Facts. And like, I think it's underrated the way he was new to the school. So if you think about it, most of the people, like we seen in Miko's flashback, she was in Shuichi as from elementary through to middle school and finally in high school. So like, if you think about, these people have been together since like reception, basically. So for Shirogane to come during secondary school and like in like, I think it's like year 10 of secondary school, and to be able to have enough charisma to become the student council president, you have to know he's built different, because he was going up against Kaguya as well.
He is.
And we've seen later in the episode what Kaguya was capable of doing. So Shirogane, he's a class act, and I really do respect him for adhering to Ishigami's wishes and to help Miko as well, because he really didn't have to do that. He really didn't. And we get to see in that final scene Miko, Iino smiling as she's surrounded by people.
Queen Miko.
Yes, people have finally clocked on. Even though she's not a queen in my eyes, but
see, I could have told them about her, but they didn't want to listen. If they watched the previous episode, they would have known about Queen Miko. But let me not talk too much.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I love that.
Go on.
Oh yeah, I just like on that last scene, I just love that she's finally getting her recognition, and people are finally appreciating her. And I loved how her friends started crying because she was so happy for her. Like, wow, she was bawling. She's like, I can't believe. She's like, she was acting like a mother. That she has that motherly kind of friendship relationship with her. And I love every moment of that.
Mad respect for Kobachi. I think that's her name. And I like how they actually got her buzzcut thing trending on Instagram. Buzzed for buzzcut.
I died. I died.
I respect it. Fair enough, man. Go forth and do your thing. Hey, and it was only 40 votes that decided it, so very close. Shirogane treading a thin line.
He shouldn't have. Like, the way he reacted, he himself knew that, I really could have been the end to my success.
Fam.
Like, please don't be dumb like that. He was plotting against himself, basically.
Hey, bro, man was basically playing. You know when you're playing FIFA, yeah, and you're slapping someone like 3-0, and you're like, okay, hold 2 goals, and they come back to beat you 4-3.
Hey, like, wow.
I was really the instrumental piece in my own downfall.
Facts. That really happened to him for real.
Yeah, but luckily it didn't. He scored a goal in the 90th minute, turned it into 4-2.
Late winner.
The late winner. But let's talk about the final part of the episode. Kaguya isn't getting called, which is basically the aftermath of this election thing. Kaguya kind of being stressed because Shirogane hasn't come up to her, because she wasn't even ill. It was a thing where she went to Hayasaka, and then because Hayasaka and Kaguya can't be seen together in public, I think Chika pulled up behind them, so Hayasaka basically knocked Kaguya out.
Did you see how she dashed?
She's a ninja, bro. She's actually a ninja.
She is, bro. Didn't I say? I said it. She's a trained ninja, Shaolin ninja. I don't know where she trained.
Listen, I don't know how she was able to move that quickly.
Tell me that wasn't faster than Minato. Tell me that wasn't fast. That was faster than Minato. That was flash. She was gone. She disappeared. I was like, wow. Chika did not see anything. How could Chika not see that?
Oh my days. Flying God Thunder, yeah. Man said, nah, I'm actually finished.
She did that. She's wavy. Oh my.
Nah, I'm actually finished.
Please. You can't play with her. I've never seen such speed. Bro, I was in shock when I saw that. I was like, what is happening? That's the actual ninja.
That's my queen, Hayasaka, showing out.
Ninja.
And then in the, infirmary, do you see the way she exited the room so quickly through the window, you know?
It's crazy.
She built different. And she got an app that monitors Kaguya's mental state. I don't know how that works, but...
From that app, Kaguya is a very broken individual and she needs real help. Real actually help. She needs proper...
Yes,
she needs help.
That's the first piece of evidence that shows that she indeed needs mental help, because it shows she was slipping into a mental disorder from her emotional distress.
You know you need help when your parents hired a ninja to look after you. That's how you just know, like, she couldn't hire anybody, or had to hire.
I don't understand that girl. She is powerful.
Very powerful. But I'm not gonna lie, I was hating on Kaguya. I was like, you're doing too much.
Of course you were.
Like, somebody else could need... somebody else could use that bed who's actually ill or sick. But you're out here nervous, anxious, and angry.
How do you know that?
Just because.
How do you know that? Man's moving like the infirmary was full, you know? Come on, bro. There was plenty of empty beds. They could have used it if they wanted to. And the school was finished anyway. If you're ill, go home. Why are you staying at school for?
All I'm saying is, if you're not really ill, do not come and secure a bed that you don't need to secure. That's what I'm saying. Just because my guy hasn't given her the place yet. And I thought at this point, it's a given that all of you are going to be back. Like,
you know how
you work so hard.
Teenagers are, bro. She talks herself into a corner, bro. She was overthinking it times 1,000. You see all those questions she was talking about. Oh yeah, am I just a side chick? Essentially, I'm like, whoa, you know that's not true, but like, I'm gonna let you vibe.
Hayasaka definitely let her vibes, which I wouldn't have. I would have like, pull yourself together. Do you know how that Chika slapped up Ishigami in the last two episodes, and just hit him. That's how they hit her. I'm like, Kaguya, pull yourself together now. I'd have gone ham. She would have been a different person after that.
It just shows how much she likes him. Like, she likes him a lot, bro. A lot. She was so gassed when he was like, "Oh, will you be my vice president?" The fact that he actually asked her, because with the other two, he was just like, "Oh yeah, you guys, back, secretary, treasurer." But he went up and asked her. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if I can just assume. I need to get your consent first." She gave the okay.
The only person that should have been worried about the place is Chika, and that's why you can see her nerves, because she knows she's a snake. She has showcased in the last 2 episodes.
She said, "I know I have a difficult personality." Oh no,
she knows. And I was like, if Ishigami now just goes and says, "Nah, I'm not taking you, Chika. You'll be moving mad," he has to accept that. But obviously, he didn't. And Ishigami, man should have knew he was getting a spot, because that's his brody, that's his day one, that's his boy. Those two are low-key, brothers at this point.
Yeah, I found it strange how they were moving kind of sheepish, but I guess it just shows how anxious they were, because they were like, "Oh, he almost lost, like Maybe he was like, maybe we didn't do good enough of a job.
Oh, I see.
But he loyal. He's like, I couldn't have done this without any of you. I'm powerless. So, man's a bit too humble, you know. I think he was fine by himself too. I mean, actually, no, not by himself. I think he was underselling how much of an influence he had in his victory as well.
Oh yeah,
that's the
he definitely was.
He's too humble, man.
If you just took and went by his words, you would think he was carried to the W. But no, he was like the centerpiece. He's what people are actually voting for. Everybody else was the decoration. Like everybody else was the icing, the cherries on the cake. He was the cake. That's where the vote were going for. Like,
definitely,
he needs to understand his importance.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to bring up. So let me just get your final thoughts on the episode.
This episode kind of confused me, you know, not in like an odd way, but as in it didn't actually feel like it was parts. Like,
yes,
it was like one episode. Like they didn't even have to put any parts because everything was so seamless. Like you had the elections when they were talking and giving out, what's the word? Man's forgetting.
Speeches?
Yeah, that's the one. So when they were giving out their speeches and that, you know, my brain just stopped working for like 2 seconds. I was like, what's happening?
Brain fog.
Yeah, when they were giving out this bro, it was mad. They were giving out their speeches and that transitioned smoothly to Iino's backstory, why she's so strong and why she has holds on to her ideals and all of that. And then obviously we've got more character development with Ishigami and Kaguya and Hayasaka, the ninja, obviously. And overall, it was a great episode. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed it. And you know, it's a 10 out of 10 episode where Miko is involved. So
yes, man's being consistent now. Yes.
I have to. Queen Miko. And she was great in this episode. And the way that they portrayed her whole like backstory in the flashback and the friendship that she has with her friend, her day one, just carried this whole episode. I think, if anything, it was an episode about them two, and then everybody else was just like, I don't want to say the side story, but just like the seasoning.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I had the same word in my mind.
I loved it.
I agree. I think this whole election arc has been, I think, definitely one of my favorite parts of the series. If I'm looking at both seasons, it's been a good narrative from like when it began, like student council ending, and then Kaguya wanting him to run again, and then getting introduced to Miko, Shirogane asking Kaguya to do the speech for him. Like all of those have been great, like build up pieces to like this final episode with the speeches. Like it definitely delivered. Like this is one of the best episodes in the series. And like as I was saying before, like that speech scene with Miko and Shirogane, like I think it really shows off all the best parts of their characters, and it just shows how well the characters are written and like how good the narrative flows as well. And I just really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed these characters so much, like, and seeing them go through these, I guess, trials is like, it's interesting. I really do like this series. Like this episode is one of the reasons why I like this series. I'm like, this is why I'm happy I picked up this show, because honestly, it's one of the best episodes of the series for me.
I agree. It was very rewarding. Like I was watching it, and it was like everything we've seen so far presented in one episode of greatness, where we see why all these episodes and the development in those episodes were so important to get to this point where people can get re-elected and show real growth in and outside the student council. It was just a joy to watch. Like I would repeat it all the time. Like it's a banger.
Yes, and I'm excited to see how. Actually, I don't even know why I'm acting like I haven't seen the show, but yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how Miko is gonna interact with the student council, because I remember those interactions being hilarious. So like, just more greatness coming up. Hey, bring on the next episode. You know, all them things there. But
Of course.
bringing up the episode to a close. It was another banger this week. You already know what it is. Kaguya doing Kaguya things.
Being trash.
Kaguya's a queen. Don't listen to Rajel. This agenda must stop, because I might have to pull out my Miko pack and start smoking it. But
Wow.
hey, don't make me smoke that Miko pack. Please, you don't want to hear slander from this guy.
I do not want it.
Like, share, comment. Thanks for. I noticed we got 30 subscribers now, so thank you, all you guys who subscribing and watching. We're gonna try to be more consistent. Got some stuff in the works. It's just scheduling issues, but we'll get through it. We'll work out.
Definitely.
We'll work something out. But as always, this is Daniel signing off. You know, all them things there. Peace.
All of that. Catch you guys in a bit.